Hello, Darrin. Welcome to Kazakhstan. We're very glad that you are here. You are from food innovation teams of Popeyes. May you tell what you do?
Sure. So I'm part of the global marketing team for Popeyes, and my role is Senior Director of Commercialization and Quality Assurance. I work all around the world setting up Popeyes in new country markets.
And nutrition. What is nutrition for you? Why is actually you decided to somehow actually deal with nutrition?
So way back when I was going to college, I actually started in the field of nutrition. I got a degree in dietetics and food management, and actually started working in the medical industry, reviewing medical charts and identifying nutritional deficiencies and doing nutritional consults. And then from there, I've just always been super passionate about nutrition.
Excellent. Darrin, what is food innovation? What do you do? Do you travel around the world and study different recipes and study different production lines? And what is food innovation at Popeyes?
Yeah, so food innovation is developing new product concepts, and really taking creativity and giving it a little twist, right? Coming up with something new and innovative. That's a lot of what our culinary chefs work on. For me personally, I focus on the scalability piece, the commercialization element. So I interact closely with manufacturing suppliers, better understanding sourcing of raw material, their production capabilities, studying their throughput, trying to better understand different levels of variability. It could be human variance, equipment variance, or mechanical variance.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Then, when we talked, we discussed different approaches in nutrition, new trends. May you share your views on the macronutrients and micronutrients?
Sure. When you talk about macronutrients, we're focusing on like protein, carbohydrate, and fat, which is what most people look at in terms of nutrition. It's typically what you'll see on the nutritional labels. But when you start getting into micronutrition, that's when you're getting into the various vitamins and minerals and the benefits that those play, or the role that those play in your overall health and wellness and nutrition.
What is today the world is studying new micronutrients, and what you would recommend to people to dig in and study more? Because I understand the humanity just scratched this surface of the nutrition.
Yeah, so where a lot of emerging science and micronutrition is coming from is really through fermented foods and better understanding how we can utilize microorganisms to kind of pre-digest or break down, providing probiotics and incorporation of prebiotics like fibers and things like that. But the production of the bacteria pre-digesting the food releases additional vitamins and nutrients that we wouldn't normally get through our body, which just adds tremendous value to our overall health and wellness.
What is the vitamins you would recommend people to look
the vitamin that I've been focusing on lately is vitamin K2. Now there's various subforms of K2. There's MK4, MK7, 9, 12. The one that I'm most interested about is the MK7. This again is coming through fermented foods. This is not a synthetic man-made version. This is something that you would find in nature that naturally occurs. The best example of where K2, MK7 has first really been identified is through Japanese culture with natto, fermented soybeans.
But why is it important today? Why is actually you study that?
Yeah, so really where the importance of this K2, MK7 vitamin is coming from is it has the ability to break down calcium deposits that would develop in our body, in our bloodstream over time. And it's this breakdown of the calcium deposits that really help us in our overall health and wellness, and prevents blockage or obstruction, like in our arteries and our veins and things like that. So it could, more sciences still need to be done to confirm, but initial science indicates that this is having a positive impact on reducing heart disease and other types of illness. But these calcium deposits get broken down, and this nutrient helps to drive the calcium back into the bone, which as we all get older, we suffer from also osteoporosis through natural breakdown or degradation of our bodies. So this kind of helps us to create this balance and kind of restore the way our bodies once were, right? So.
Is it somehow related to saturated oils?
So what I'm learning, through these studies is that the saturated fats are binding to the calcium deposits. It's not necessarily the saturated fats that are the key contributors or the root cause of heart disease. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't limit saturated fats. We should limit everything. There's no such thing as overindulging in any one item and not suffering consequences. Even good things can be very bad for us as well. So we should certainly limit saturated fats. But as this science emerges, it's interesting, and there's opportunity to really, I believe, get to the root cause of what's causing a lot of these issues with calcium plaque and deposits, breaking them down, which then allows our body's natural metabolic processes to kind of, naturally process the saturated fats for like the macronutrient energy consumption.
Do I understand right that saturated fats, it's a more symptom which is caused by the calcium, which is get accumulated in the body and the blood?
Yes, that seems to be the latest finding, but it hasn't been like published or definitive yet. But it is there's indications that it is a symptom and not necessarily the key contributor.
And then the root cause would be coming from calcium. And what is the study showing that MK7 and K2 helps to decompose the saturated oil with calcium and return it to the body?
The K2, MK7 doesn't break down the saturated fat. It breaks down the calcium plaque, the calcium deposits, right? Which the saturated fats have a tendency of clinging to. And so once you kind of get to the root cause of getting rid of those calcium, plaque or deposits, then your body is able to normally process saturated fats just like unsaturated fats or mono unsaturated fats. Mm-hmm. It's a macronutrient. It supplies energy. Our bodies need energy to consume, right? There should be no reason why these saturated fats, unnaturally are staying within our bloodstream and unless clinging on to other substrates.
What is then the root cause for these calcium deposits?
That's a good question. I haven't really gotten too in depth to better understand that, other than I guess my thought is that as we're getting older, right, and our bones are weakening and calcium starts breaking down, degrading, it starts going into regions or zones of our body that shouldn't naturally be there, right? So it's really this type of vitamin like the K2, MK7 that allows us to break it down and send it back to where rightfully belongs, you know, more in our bone tissue. It just kind of gives us an overall level of restoration.
I understand you experimented with different frying oils. When is actually you see the effect of this MK7. When is actually I understand you experiment with beef tallow, and beef tallow have this effect. Can you elaborate on that?
So beef tallow is the preferred fat for Popeyes, and we have two different forms of beef tallow available throughout the brand. We have grass-fed beef tallow, and we have grain-fed beef tallow. The grass-fed beef tallow that's approved in the system, it really has to come from sustainable locations, and the most sustainable locations for grass-fed beef tallow come from Ireland and Australia, or even New Zealand, right? These are the regions that are set up to kind of accommodate grass-fed cattle, mostly. But the benefits to consuming beef fat come with, there's a fatty acid in beef fat that's conjugated linoleic acid, CLA. This fatty acid is found on health food stores, right? You'll see it in capsule form, and people will talk about, you know, the benefits of consuming conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, on a regular basis. And science is showing that consumption of conjugated linoleic acid you get tremendous benefits. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. It's a fat that can burn fat, so it helps your body to metabolize fat better, more efficiently. It's also a fat that has been shown to be fight against certain types of cancers.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. We were surprised to learn that people here in Kazakhstan, they use sunflower oil, frying oil, but it's the lowest standard by international definitions. And the second, it's much lower standard than palm oil, and on the top you see the beef tallow. May you lead us through the frying oil and our usual habits?
Yeah,
what we have today?
So with respect to like trying to identify what is a healthier fat, really what you want to do when you're breaking it down, looking at the different types of fatty acids. I mean, the classifications, we talked about saturated fatty acids, then you have monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids. The area that I would talk about focusing mostly on is the polyunsaturated fatty acids. You have your omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. These fatty acids are essential fatty acids. Essential meaning you need to consume them through diet. Your body cannot naturally synthesize or make up these fatty acids. Because our bodies are extraordinary to a certain extent, right? There's some elements that if we don't get through diet, it can break down the various subcomponents and reassemble into whatever our body actually needs. But these essential fatty acids, it cannot do that. So you must consume through diet. The fatty acid that you really need to limit and watch out for is your omega-6 fatty acid, right? Too much of this fatty acid can have negative effects from a health perspective, unlike the omega-3 fatty acid.
Interesting. But may you lead us through the vitamins? What is actually vitamins you would recommend people at the elder age to use and to have, and what is actually because the people are saying it's either denial of vitamins and the importance of vitamins, or it's just an exaggeration of that.
So I mean, everybody's body is different, right? There's no one size fits all. There's no universal answer for everybody, right? Really what it comes down to is focusing on having a well-balanced diet. And through that balanced diet, you'll get, the right vitamin profile and minerals that your body needs. Now, some of our bodies may demand more than others, right? Which is where you would really need to kind of do further studies. You could do like a blood analysis to see, hey, is my specific body deficient in anything? And if so, then maybe I should supplement with an additional vitamin because I'm not getting what my body needs just through diet. It's alone. So there are some vitamins that you have to be careful with, though. There's fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, which, like I was saying earlier, if you consume too much of a good thing, it can be a bad thing. And these fat soluble vitamins build up over time within your body. And through this accumulation of these vitamins, you can have toxic effects that can negatively impact your overall health and wellness.
Shall we pay more attention to caffeine today? The caffeine, it's especially in the cities, it's a basic product and ingredient of our life.
Yeah, I mean, caffeine is a stimulant, right? It stimulates our heart, it picks us up, it energizes us. It's okay to have some caffeine in moderation. Moderation is really king on everything, right? Well balanced and eat moderately. Me personally, I love coffee. I need 2 cups of coffee first thing in the morning, that little pick me up. And what I've learned through some studies in consuming coffee just before a workout actually helps to accelerate your metabolism, and it allows you to metabolize energy more efficiently and effectively throughout your workout.
May we discuss sugar, importance of sugar? Is sugar important for our daily diet?
No, sugar is taboo. Sugar is actually, alcohol is not the best for us, but sugar may even be considered worse. Consumption of too much sugar. Now, let me clarify. It's simple sugars, refined sugars, processed sugars like your white sugar, sugars from cane, beets, things like that. These sugars add zero nutritional value. They provide calories, but you're not getting any vitamins or nutrients or minerals that benefit your body whatsoever. And consuming too much sugar, especially at one sitting, can cause insulin spikes. And it's this insulin spike that causes inflammation and disrupts a lot of your metabolic processes. So my recommendation is to limit sugar, not natural sugars. I want to be clear, like sugars through fruits and vegetables, when combined with fibers, are good for you. Me personally, I like to incorporate some sugar in my coffee. But I try to focus on natural, wholesome sugars. So my sugars are maple syrup and or honey.
Mm-hmm. I see. But how we may sweeten up our daily diet then?
Well, I mean, you can sweeten through, maple syrup, honey. There's new breakthroughs with stevia. I don't know if you're familiar with stevia, but that's derived from I think it's the steviol plant. And what they do is they extract it, break it down into a powder form. And this is a natural form of kind of sweetening items without having necessarily all the negative health effects.
But today we're dependent on these mass-produced products, easily available, easily packaged, well-branded and delivered to the shelves in the supermarkets, because that is the easiest products to sell. And today, what you would in daily diet you would recommend people to add more and maybe reduce certain products?
What I would recommend people to do is focus on whole foods. wholesomeness of whole foods, right? That's the heart of nutrition and overall wellness. It's whole foods, increasing consumption of vegetables. Vegetables, you can eat a lot of vegetables and have very few calories added to your overall diet. To give you an example, a serving of vegetables, which could be like 1 cup of raw vegetable or half a cup of cooked vegetable, only yields 25 calories. 1 serving of raw sugar, which is like 1 tablespoon of sugar, is 45 calories. So look at all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that you're getting from that 1 cup of fresh, wholesome vegetable where you only get 25 calories, along with all the nutrients that go with it, versus sugar where you're having 1 tablespoon, a very small portion, 45 calories, no nutritional value.
But Darrin, why is it important for your team, the team of food innovation, to study all these approaches?
A lot of what we do at Popeyes is we prepare a lot of our foods back of the house, which makes us very different from the average QSR. We also believe in sourcing of the wholesomeness of whole foods. To give you an example, like our poultry, we don't do chopped and formed poultry. We have whole muscle meat. Even our nugget, a lot of times when I get into new markets and a lot of people, more specifically people that I interact with at the supplier level, they just see the word nugget and they automatically think, oh, this is chopped and formed. It might be like McDonald's, and we don't have that capability. And no. Our nugget is not like the chopped and formed nugget. It's a whole muscle nugget. And then once I kind of walk them through the process of what that looks like, then they're, oh yeah, we can do that. We have whole muscle chicken, no problem. So I think a lot of it's through the wholesomeness of the raw materials that we source. We deal with raw commodities, right? A lot of times, I travel around the world. I visit India, where we source our chili peppers. I've visited the farms in Hyderabad and watched the ladies, kind of picking them off the plants, and then we sun dry them on the tarps. So it's like naturally drying the chili pepper out. Then they get bagged, and then they're taken to the facility to kind of grind down, meet our specific criteria and requirements. Flour, it's a raw commodity. Every year we have to reevaluate our flour because it's always changing. It's never the same. It's always dependent on what were the weather conditions for that particular year. How was extra fertilizer added, which increased the protein level? Do we have to kind of make a blend to kind of bring the protein level to our acceptable standards? And what area is it growing in? What type of soil? What's the conditions of that soil? These are all factors that play into the sourcing of the raw commodities that we use here at Popeyes.
Then you're destroying the stereotype that the people who prepare fast food don't eat the same food. What are you saying, that you cook at home, you use the same food?
Yes, we do. It's the wholesomeness of the foods that we're purchasing and utilizing. You want to stay away from really food items that are further processed, right? And have a lot of ingredients that you can't pronounce. The other thing that Popeyes prides itself in is that we don't use any artificial flavors, ingredients, or colors. The flavors like MSG, we've started phasing out a lot of that. That was actually one of my tasks 4 years ago in international markets, was to come up with an MSG alternative. So we're using yeast extracts. It goes back to the biological aspect, right? So there's a lot of science it's kind of interwound into what we do and how we create the wholesomeness of the foods that we provide to our guests.
Excellent, excellent. You've been traveling for past 5 months.
Yes.
What markets did you visit?
Over the past 5 months, China, Taiwan, New Zealand, Switzerland, here, Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Where else have I been? Spain. So Popeyes has been expanding quite aggressively. A lot of new country entries, which really necessitates the need for the intense traveling.
Yeah. But maybe we come back to QSR business.
Sure.
For people, that is fast food business, and the people associate it with unhealthy food.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something you share, their opinion?
No. It goes back to the sourcing of the right ingredients and making the right decisions, socially responsible decisions. Like I talked about, no use of artificial flavors, colors, additives, preservatives. Give you an example with the colors, like competitors in the QSR will use artificial colors like yellow number 5, yellow number 6, red 40, various dyes that just aren't natural, right? A lot of what we use are oleoresin paprikas. We use turmeric, curcumin. We're using components that have just natural elements, natural flavors, and have natural benefits. Curcumin from turmeric has amazing natural anti-inflammatory properties. And this is a spice that we use in a lot of our ingredients.
Why is actually Popeyes? It's looking at the roots of the Louisiana cuisine and this Louisiana kitchen, and what is unique about that?
Sure. So the Louisiana heritage kind of derived from. You got to take a step back. America is the melting pot of many cultures, right? And it's through the infusion of these different cultures that created this Louisiana heritage, right? You have French influence, you have German, you have the West Indies islands, you have the Caribbean islands, you have the Cajun exiles from Canada that have come down to Louisiana, right? It's truly a melting pot. It's a fusion of many different cultures and heritages that have kind of taken each of their own unique, traditions with different cooking methods and utilization of spices and foods, and kind of fused it into one. And that's really the essence of what Louisiana is about. This is the core of what Popeyes represents. And I think this is why Popeyes resonates very well around the world, because it's a fusion of many cultures. It's not just limited to one specific type of cuisine. There are two different main categories when you talk about Louisiana food. You have Cajun and Creole. Both utilize spices. Cajun tends to use spices that are a little more like heat spice, where Creole uses more subtle spices but incorporates a lot more savoriness or umami flavor.
It was interesting for me to learn that when we talk about spices for local people, that is primarily chili pepper.
Sure.
And usually the people do not really recognize the flavors, but they recognize the heat of the spices.
Yeah.
May you share your view on the spices?
Yeah. So me personally, I like to enjoy the complexity and flavors, many flavors in the food that I eat. That's one of the things that I think Popeyes really prides themselves on when it comes to our chili pepper spice, right? it's not just chili peppers where we're just throwing heat at it. When you eat our spicy seasoning, you should be tasting fermented fruity pepper flavor, followed by a slow building heat, and that heat is on the back of the throat. That back of the throat is by design. It's specifically supposed to do that. And it also has that natural umami effect or savoriness, so that you have that craveability. You just want to keep going in and have some more of it.
Mm-hmm. But is it healthy to use all this spicy, or is it something like a sugar sweeteners of our diet?
So these spices are coming from chili peppers. The chili peppers that I was talking about in India from Hyderabad. It's just it's the specific nuances of our specification and how we have them break it down to various grind sizes and how it delivers, and the blend of other spices and ingredients that create the overall chemical effect on the tongue when you're enjoying the food.
But in our modern life, the sauces, they influence all our food. Mm-hmm. For my little son, every food has the flavor of the Heinz ketchup.
Sure.
And why actually it's a spices, it's something, it's spices we may change and bring the spices into our life.
Right, yeah. Yeah, people love to accompany sauces with a lot of food items, especially when it comes to fried chicken. A lot of the sauces that we have, they're more like mayo based, so they will generally have higher percentage of fat, along with a combination of various spices. We do, use some sugar because you have to kind of balance some things out. We also tend to like to use a lot of vinegar with our sauces as well. The acidity of that vinegar pairs nicely with the combination of the foods in our chicken and other side items.
Popeyes is a chicken brand. Somehow
Right.
it's a Popeyes sticks with the chicken products, but not adding up the beef. Is it done intentionally, or you are considering to bring up the meat products?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the nutritional profile of chicken, they tend to be 99% protein, muscle, and 1% fat. So it is a leaner meat, it is a healthier meat, and it is a more cost-effective option as well.
Mm-hmm. And on the beef side, when we discussed with you different approaches to beef, you shared your opinion that the grain-fed beef today is less healthier than grass-fed beef.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to what is natural for the livestock to be consuming, right? So cattle just naturally eat grass, right? And there's a lot of benefits associated with consuming grass-fed cattle as opposed to grain-fed cattle. Going back to the conjugated linoleic acid, and give you an example of what I mean by this. Grain-fed versus grass-fed. Grass-fed cattle has a 200x factor of conjugated linoleic acid, that super beneficial fatty acid that I was talking about, over grain-fed cattle. Not to mention, the abundance of vitamins and minerals that you're going to get from grass-fed cattle that you simply won't see in grain-fed cows.
Darrin, would like to come back and would like to discuss with you the role of QSR businesses in the lifestyle of the current modern life of the people. Is it QSR something you consider it's a more fast food option which leaves no option to people, or is it new science, new features of the modern life?
I think it's new features of the modern life, right? Everything's getting fast-paced. We're becoming more technologically advanced. Society is expecting more of us, and people just aren't having the time to cook from home. So having, you know, a QSR like Popeyes, where we have the wholesomeness of foods that prepare a lot of the foods back of the house from scratch, just like mom did at home, kind of gives that wholesomeness and convenience all wrapped up into one nice package for families to consume.
But when people consider QSR or fast food options, they have the certain stereotypes, which is one is unhealthy, the second no nutritional value. Is it something you share their views?
You got to be careful who and what you're purchasing from. It comes down to educating yourself as a consumer and knowing what has premium nutritional value and high quality versus what's low quality and yields no nutritional value. It goes back to looking at the raw materials, the ingredients that are being used in the foods that you're consuming. Are they loaded with sugar? If the answer is yes, then I think it's quite clear that that's not always the best option.
May you then assure the consumers of Popeyes that they have the high quality ingredients, they have the proper processing procedures, and then it's at the highest quality in terms of the food safety.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I'm tasked with in my role, is to make sure that we're maintaining brand standards and having consistency across the globe. I kind of, as I'm working in new country entries, I work with suppliers to establish the premium level of quality, clearly define the standards so that there's no confusion, and making sure that there's premium wholesomeness in what we're offering to our guests around the world.
Darrin, may you share your information and your opinion about the GFSI? Is it something that Kazakhstan will benefit?
So GFSI is a global food standard. It's generally the highest auditing standard in the world. And I think anybody that complies or adheres to the GFSI standard does indeed benefit, right? It ensures that, there's a high level of food safety. There's thorough execution and precision and how foods are being manufactured and processed, and keeping everybody safe.
Good. Darrin, you decided to dedicate yourself to nutrition. What is nutrition in your life?
Yeah, what kind of got me to focus on nutrition, health, and wellness. When I was a younger kid, I was heavy. I was that fat kid with the man boobs, right? Go to the swimming pool and all the kids would take their shirts off, and I would keep my shirt on because I was embarrassed at how my body looked and how I felt, and people would make fun of you, right? Make fun of me. And so I just started paying closer attention to my lifestyle, being more active, getting involved in sports and fitness. And then I realized that it goes beyond just that, right? You have to start looking at the nutrition and what you're eating and the wholesomeness of what you're eating. I'm a firm believer it's 20% exercise, 80% nutrition.
Mm-hmm. What would be rules for people? What recommendation? Let's say 3 don'ts. What people shouldn't do.
Don't be inactive. Like,
Okay.
don't promote inactivity. You want to get out there. You have to exercise. It's super important. Of all of the exercise routines, the most important one is weight training. New science is showing that weight training provides tremendous benefit.
That is number one.
That is number one.
Number
Don't consume refined sugars or limit your refined sugars.
Okay.
Right? It goes back to it provides a lot of calories with very little with actually no nutritional value.
Mm-hmm. And then number three?
Number three, don't, I guess, eat excessively. Understand moderation and balance.
Darrin,
Yeah.
why is actually fast food is popular with kids? Do you have an answer?
So, I mean, I have an answer for a competitor, but I don't know if it's my place. I mean, it's just my opinion. I don't think, I mean, like Popeyes doesn't specifically target kids, if that's what you're asking me. I mean, we target all people. It's about family gathering and togetherness and enjoying, wholesome food within the comfort of your family and enjoying one another's company. I think that's an element that is missing nowadays. Everybody's on the go and they're busy and they don't have time to sit down and eat together. And I think it's important that you take at least 1 hour out of your day without a cell phone to sit down, enjoy a good wholesome meal, and have fellowship with your family.
Here in Kazakhstan, we have a slightly different tradition when everyone cooks at home and they usually prefer to stay at home, but it's a new pace of life. It looks like everyone is getting so busy, especially the younger people, which is they have the scarcest asset they have, unfortunately, it's time. And that is new wave of coming. And here in Kazakhstan, we would like maybe to introduce high quality food when the people may access it. Yeah. Do you watch the same trends around the world?
I don't know if I really spend enough time in all of the markets to like thoroughly understand the culture. Like to give you an example, like in the Philippines, I guess, I mean, I do study the people a little bit, and a lot of the common trends that I see in the Philippines, family is like huge, sense of togetherness. When I saw families going out to eat at QSR restaurants or other forms of restaurants, the whole family was together. I mean, huge families, 15, 20 people. It didn't matter what time. I mean, I even went like in malls at midnight and there were families sitting down having dinner together. I guess there's no one size fits all. It depends on what works best for the dynamics of your lifestyle and your family situation.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the daily diet of the people, what is, you would say, the factors the people you would recommend to look after?
I think there's too much information, and everybody's looking for a quick, easy fix. How do I lose weight fast, right? And the first thing I would say is that, okay, did you gain weight like 20 pounds like in a day, a week? No, it took a period of time, and over that period of time, a series of, let's say, bad choices or decisions that have a cumulative effect. So why would an individual expect that, hey, if I start dieting tomorrow, I'm gonna magically lose 10 pounds within a few weeks? It takes time. You gotta kind of change your habits, your routines, and then as you have this series of progression, then you start to see the results that you're looking for.
Darrin, what is your role at Popeyes?
My role is to interact with local suppliers to better understand the availability of raw commodities and what we need to do to kind of get them in line with brand standard requirements.
How do you find local suppliers here in Kazakhstan?
So we work with local franchise procurement team from our corporate office, and just identifying who are those key suppliers where we have opportunity to interact with.
Are you comfortable with the standards they have and the processes?
Yes, very comfortable. Yeah, we go through a rigorous process and protocol, making sure that all the work that we do remains confidential and proprietary, not just for us, but confidential for our suppliers as well. We want to make sure that any trade secrets that are being shared from either party, we're being respectful of maintaining that confidentiality.
We are surprised that the flour, which is for Kazakhstan, it's one of the basic products the country is proud about, is lower quality. May you share your opinion on that?
I wouldn't say that it's of lower quality. You guys just don't have the variety type that we're looking for. To give you an example, you guys in Kazakhstan are working with a soft wheat. I'm also working in Taiwan in tandem, also on a new country entry. They actually grow hard red winter wheat, which is a specific variety type that we normally work with. And they also have a medium protein level where you guys not only are soft wheat, but also a high protein level. So it's trying to work through some of those nuances of having a different variety type and what we can do to adjust the protein level to deliver on the ideal texture that we're looking for in our finished product.
Mm-hmm. How do you find local chicken?
The local chicken's been good, yeah. One of the things that I look for when I'm going into a poultry processor is, one, I want to make sure it's safe. Looking for evidence of abuse, making sure that there are good welfare conditions in place. Animals are well treated and taken care of in a humane way. I also look for opportunities where there may be nutritional deficiencies. So if you look at the meat structure, you can quickly, with a trained eye obviously, you can quickly identify if there's muscle myopathies or muscle diseases. Example of muscle diseases would be white striping or wooded breast. Example of white striping is where you get fatty marbleization in between the muscle structure. This is kind of an incomplete protein or incomplete development of protein due to poor nutrition. Wooded breast is almost like it's a hollowing of the meat structure because their suppliers are trying to grow the birds too fast to maximize the dollar, right? So these are the types of things that I look for when visiting these sites.
I would like to touch on the frying oils. And frying oils, the Popeyes would like to use the beef tallow, which is the highest standards.
Correct.
Here in Kazakhstan, it's every family use sunflower oil, which is by international world standards of lowest quality. May you lead us through the fryer oil? Yeah.
When you look at the overall chemistry of beef tallow versus sunflower oil, beef tallow is very stable. It's a very stable oil under high heat conditions. Sunflower oil is also stable, but not as robust and stable, meaning it will degrade and break down faster than beef tallow. you get the added benefit with beef tallow, the conjugated linoleic acid that we talked about. You also have your omega-3 fatty acids, where sunflower starts getting into some of your higher percentages of omega-6 fatty acids, which is essential, but also something that you should limit your overall consumption because of the effects that it can have on your body.
Darrin, is another option is palm oil.
Yes.
Do you consider palm oil as a frying oil if the sunflower oil is not good enough for you?
Palm oil is our second preferred oil to beef tallow. In terms of saturated fatty acids, it's very similar to beef tallow, our requirement is to ensure that palm oil is sustainably sourced.
Got it. Okay, thank you, Darrin. Thank you.
Thank you
for sharing with us all your opinions, and we wish you that it's a new product which will come to the market, will be successful, and maybe you'll find a new nutrients here in Kazakhstan which have the more global appeal.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.